Kieran Caniglia.
I'm Royce Joseph.
And I'm Kendall Williams.
And we're your student body officers.
Today we're here to interview our newest warrior, Dr. Kraftson, in our Meet with the Principal event.
So first off, I'm going to welcome Dr. Kraftson as our newest warrior. And the first question that we have for you today is, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Northern Virginia, about 30 minutes outside Washington, D.C. And it's an area called Fairfax County, Vienna, Virginia. And that's where I lived from the time I was born up through when I left for college.
Our next question is, where did you go to college and what did you study, or what degrees did you get?
So I went to college at a school called Wheaton College outside Chicago, Illinois. And while I was at Wheaton, I studied, I was a communications major, so I got my degree in communications. I also did a lot of business courses while I was there as well. As I can tell you later about my career path, once I got decided I wanted to go into education, I came down, when my wife and I came down to the Charlotte area, I went back to school at University of North Carolina, Charlotte to get my teaching certification. Also, I got my master's in special education. And after that, after a few years, I decided I knew I wanted to go into administration and leadership, and I went back to get my add-on degree in educational leadership, a principal's degree, or principal's license and certification. And then later down the road, after I'd been in leadership for a little while, I had decided to go back and get my doctorate degree in educational leadership, and I attended Wingate University for that.
So our next question for you is, how many years have you worked for Union County Public Schools? What schools have you worked at, and what positions have you held at each?
About 12 years, and I originally, when I left teaching at Myers Park High School in Charlotte-Mecklenburg, where I was there teaching special education for about 6 years. I came to Piedmont Middle School, to serve as an assistant principal. I spent 2 years at Piedmont Middle School as an assistant principal, and then had an opportunity to go to the elementary level. So I went to Porter Ridge Elementary, spent 2 years at Porter Ridge Elementary, and then after 2 years there, I got my first principalship and took that at Parkwood Middle School. And I spent just about 6 years, just under 6 years at Parkwood Middle School.
If you had $1 million, what would you do with it and why?
If I had $1 million, so, wow, there's so many things you could do, but I would say, if I were to actually put it to something that I wanted to use it for, not just bills and paying for things like that, obviously I think I'd love to travel. It's something that my family and I like to do together. Like to travel internationally any chance we can, and so I would put it towards setting it aside so that as a family we can do more of that, and getting to do that more with our daughters as well.
What do you think the biggest change will be this year?
So that's a great question. So you guys have had the opportunity to kind of walk through the school and see. And I think that change is the key word here. It's pretty much everything around us is changing. And you know, for me, even though I have started a school year as a principal 6 times before, this will be my 7th time opening a school year, but this is really like the first time in a lot of ways, because everything is different in so many ways. I think obviously there's the normal things that are different, that is, following all the safety guidelines and protocols that we have to. I mean, we're doing this right now, the changes here with wearing a mask, and how just that impacts even us in our communication and sitting apart. So there's a lot of just those things that are very different and changes, but on a bigger picture, it's going to be a change as all you know as students, and for parents, and me being a parent myself, it's a change in the way with going to school 1 day a week, or for those of your students who are staying full virtual, or doing a combination of it. It's a change to learn how to do that, and you guys I know saw that last semester where we all kind of got thrown into that time in a bit of crisis of figuring out what does that look like when we all went out of school and tried to figure it out? So I think a lot of the changes that you'll see are a lot of good changes in the way that from last semester, where I think this semester teachers have had the opportunity to kind of begin to wrap their heads around what is it going to look like, and it's going to be a work in progress. It's gonna take time for us all to learn it. Even here when we're setting up the sound and everything, it takes time to figure out the technology and to work with it. It might not always work the way we want it the first time. So what does instruction look like? How do you do assessments? How do you do things like attendance? How does that all work? There's so many different pieces at play that are going to just be different. Obviously, sports and clubs and activities, how are those different? It's changing in the way it's done, and we know that we'll all get through that, and we're going to figure it out together. But that, I would say, is definitely where the biggest changes are just going to be. Not one thing, just the whole. I really feel like we're kind of all starting together, and we're just going to have to walk through this together and learn, and we'll make mistakes along the way. I can tell you, it won't be perfect. It's not always going to go the way we want it to, but we're going to have to all be patient and understanding with each other, and extend a little extra grace to say, hey, how can we do this better? What can we do to improve? So there's going to be lots of changes, we know, but the great thing is being at this school where it is such a strong family. I've seen that myself, and I think just like any strong family, I am 100% confident that this community and this family is going to rally around and rally together to really make this a successful school year, given all the changes and the challenges. So a long answer, I know, but hopefully that kind of talks about it a little bit.
And then when you aren't working, what's your favorite thing to do?
When I'm not working, well, what I love to do is spend time with my wife and my daughters. I have my wife Emily, and I've mentioned another one. My wife's the principal at Weddington Elementary, and then my wife and I have two daughters. One of them is 15, a sophomore in high school, and the other one is 13, going to 8th grade. And so we just love spending time together. I think I end up watching a lot of cooking shows and HGTV. So I've learned, that's not maybe my first choice, but I've learned to do that. And I also love doing anything outside and just getting out and being athletic and trying to do sports and anything that I can, but just really being with the family.
Our next question is, what are you most excited for this year?
I'm most excited to be joining this community and this family. I've said it before, but on the previous video, this, as you guys well know, being in the community, the reputation of Weddington is unbelievable, and it is so cool in just the short time I've been here to get to see all that is going on, to see all the great things, even walking around and seeing even the students who are doing the athletics outside, and getting to see the staff working together, and getting to meet. I've had a chance to meet some parents and some families outside that we did our pickup of the Chromebooks. So it's just getting to see for myself. I can't wait to get to know people here in this community, and I'm really excited to just become a part of the Weddington family, because that is something that is so unique and so special, and I think one thing that really sets Weddington apart, and that's something that I'm thrilled to be a part of, and of course to be able to continue the great leading in this school and serving alongside our staff to be a part of the great things that are already taking place here, and I'm excited about that.
All right, the next question is, what was your favorite subject in school and why?
I think for me, I would say social studies. I always was interested in history.
Next question we have for you is, what are you most nervous for this year and about coming to Weddington in general?
So I said I was driving in the other day, I was thinking about our new students and think about how, even for you guys, there's got to be nerves. We were talking about it before, just not knowing what to expect. So you guys are nervous, and you've been here and you're on the leadership of the school. Well, we've got our new students who are coming up, either ninth graders or others who are transferring here, and the nerves that they're feeling just from not knowing, for a lot of them, not knowing people at the school, not knowing the teachers, not knowing the building, not knowing. I'm really the nurse that, like, there's a natural nervousness of coming in and wanting to really continue to just, you want to get to know everyone. There's just an excitement. So it's not all a negative thing, a nervousness, it's just an overall excitement. I think there's obviously just waiting, it's kind of anticipation of what's it going to look like. I don't think any of us really know. We've got everything, this staff has done an incredible job planning. I've seen that already, planning for this upcoming school year and for the first day of school and everything. But like I shared, it's like we just don't really know until we get in and we kind of see how it's going to go. We're going to go figure it out. But there's nerves, but again, there's a difference between being nerves as in scared versus just excitement and getting to see that. And I think there's a lot of excitement about it.
Our next question is, what was your favorite part about high school?
It's relationships. I just love the friendships. Getting involved with sports and activities and clubs, and for me, just to be able to be with people and getting to know the teachers, and that was honestly one of the things that I loved about it, and really helped motivate me in so many ways, especially with academically as well. And so that was something that I loved about it. I loved playing sports at high school. Played basketball and lacrosse at high school, and I just absolutely loved it. So that was something that had great memories of that.
Our next question is, who is your biggest role model in life?
So that's a great question. It's hard for me to say one single person as a role model. I have been very, very fortunate along the way, from the time I was younger and going through high school and then college even, and now even as an adult, I've had many other men and women who have come alongside and been such incredible supports and encouragers, and just people who modeled what just high expectations. They were there to support, and that to me, I could go on a list of people who may not even know the big impact that they've had in my life, because there have been so many throughout the years who have helped me, again, to see the potential in me, and for me to see my own potential. And again, that's a big piece of what I like to do. I want to help students and others see that potential in themselves so that they can really be the best that they are, that they can be.
Philosophy on education and learning.
My philosophy of education, again, has really developed over the years, and it's come from experience, a lot of my own experiences. And I really just think it's about, one, we have to really look to help students figure out what is the way that they learn the best. Because it doesn't look the same for all of us. Some of us are auditory, some of us are more visual. And a lot of it is realizing that, one, we have to acknowledge it's okay to learn differently. It's okay. We all have great strengths, and I think that's something that I've always wanted to see is how do we teach students to figure out what are their strengths, because it all ties into your passion for what you do. And if you can develop a passion for learning, you're going to be much more engaged and excited about what you're doing. And some people say, I'm not interested in that subject. Well, I think it's about figuring out there's ways to get interested in something, even if you might not think it's your subject. So one of the things that I look at when I think of education and learning, there's three words that have always stood out to me a lot. The first is relationships. Relationships, if you think about a triangle and think about the foundation or the base of the triangle, is the relationships. That is extremely important to really develop those relationships. Not only, I think, with the staff, so that you get to know staff members, that builds the trust in there, creates a safe environment for people to feel like they can express their feelings or their opinions, and it's a safe place to learn. So the relationships is extremely important, and obviously encouraging so that students have that relationship with each other and develop that. So relationships are really a key piece that I think are essential to really creating that strong foundation for learning. And then also another piece there is the relevance. I know for me, things were a lot easier for me when it was relevant, when I could tie in, make a connection between why am I learning. So even if it's in a subject that didn't come as easy for me or wasn't my go-to subject, if a teacher ever helped me make a connection and make it relevant to me, I was able to really get engaged with that more, and it gave me a lot more energy and purpose into why am I studying. So I'm not just studying to get a grade, I want to learn it, to make it relevant and to tie in relevance. A big piece of that is, can't you then take learning and turn learning into, we don't want people just to regurgitate information. We want students to be able to learn information and go out in the real world and use that, to become practitioners of it, to actually utilize to better themselves and to better others around them, and to be able to, all the more nowadays we need people who are problem solvers. So you have to be able to learn that and be able to, so relevance plays a big piece of that, making it relevant. So helping students in everything, and that's getting involved. You can make things relevant. You can find relevance whether it be in sports or in arts or in clubs or you guys in student government. There's so many ways to find that relevance. And then the last one on there is extremely important, which is the rigor. There has to be a rigor. We have to challenge students. We can't just kind of do the same old. We have to be able to challenge students in order to help them reach their full potential, be able to do the very best. It allows students to see that they're capable, what they're capable of. For me, I mentioned those mentors earlier, and those who helped me push me. They were people who challenged me to not just be okay with settling, but to really push myself, and through that I was able to see, wow, yeah, I can do that, and that helps build that confidence, and it helps you when you go out into the world and are able to use that. So those three things are something that I think are extremely important, and a kind of a quick way to summarize that for me is that again, the relationships, the relevance, and the rigor, and just continuing to look for ways to improve, to be able to make things where they're practical and you can use your skills not just to regurgitate for a test, but you were able to actually turn around, problem solve. And it's also about working. I go back to that relationships. You got to be able to work with other people nowadays more than ever in groups, to collaborate with one another and be able to do that in a team to come up with solutions to things. So, and that's a long answer to that, but hopefully that kind of touches on that a little bit.
Thank you, Dr. Kraftson, for your time today. We really appreciate it.
And we look forward to hopefully a great school year coming up ahead.
Well, and thank you guys also just for taking your time. I know we've just kind of gotten to touch on a few things, and you've gotten to see, hopefully learn a little bit more about me. But I really look forward to getting to know you guys, getting to know me better, the community, and I love to be able to get to know the community and be out and about. And hopefully we continue to, once we get things hopefully back to some sense of normal where we can get out and be in larger groups and stuff, it'll be great. I look forward to being a part of those community events and everything. So really excited, and just want to thank you all again for taking your time to do this. And I really look forward to getting to know our community, and want to again tell everyone how honored I am to be the next principal here at Weddington High School, and what a privilege it is, and I'm really looking forward to a great school year.